Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to Lost to Time Gaming, and this is our very first video for the channel. It's not one that I thought I'd be making, but I thought, you know what, I want to actually make this video, so might as well start this off as the very first video that we do. This is a video looking at Fallout 1, and it's just addressing a lot of comments that I see either in other videos or online, particularly since Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4 all came out with people saying that they tried to play the original Fallout. They just couldn't get into it. It was too hard. The interface was too old. The game was too hard. Just wasn't something they could go back to. And a lot of the time people attribute that to it's an old game. It's an old way of doing things. But I suppose my point of view on it was that I was young when I first picked this game up. I was about 13 and started playing it. Oops, I better just stop that. And it was hard back then. We had to work it out. It was hard to play. It was hard to work out where to go. The first time I played it, I didn't even realize I could move around a town. I got stuck in the first part of a town. I didn't really get any quests done. I didn't find the water chip, the big main quest for Fallout. None of that happened. It was a terrible experience, and I died out in the desert somewhere from radiation sickness, just a nameless person in the waste. It was quite fitting now that I think about it. But, the second time I played through, I realized a few more things. Okay. Eventually got to the point where I could find the water chip and keep going. So I just wanted to run through just a few things, a few quality of life things when playing Fallout. If you do these, then you're going to understand the game a bit more. You can understand the engine that it was built on a bit more, and you're going to be able to enjoy the story, and I think enjoy the combat in it too. It is hard. It is brutal. You can't just run and gun like you might in other games or in other Fallout games as well. You can't just stand there and tank all the damage and shoot a super mutant straight up, because you will die. And in this game, you will die a lot, and sometimes you just have to learn to save because chance just goes against you. So let's have a look. We might just start with the character creation in this first video, but we'll get into some more. We'll just see how long it takes. So we'll start a new game. First thing, you have this character selection screen. We've got who's this? Max Stone, Natalia, Albert. Don't take any of these. They're all crap. Okay, you can make a better one, and I would encourage you to make a character. So create character, just because you can own that character. This is your character creation screen. Okay, it's a little overwhelming when you first see it, but if you make some good choices here, particularly for your first time through, it will make the game a lot more playable. If you do some elementary mistakes in creating a character in Fallout here because you don't know how it all works, and that's fair play to you. But if you make some basic mistakes here, it'll be trouble for you down the line. If you do a few clever things here, or a few obvious things or powerful things, I guess, then it will be a lot easier. So on this screen, put in your name, whoever you want to be. I'll put my name in. My name's Ben. Age doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. Doesn't really matter what you put there. Who cares? Male or female, it's not a huge impact on the game. There's a couple of small bits which I won't spoil. Fallout 2 had a lot more when it came to male or female, and so did other games, but the first one doesn't really matter too much. I'll leave it as male. And then you've got a few different sections here. You've got these I can't remember what they're called, your attributes, that's what it is. Strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck. Pretty famous. It's your special. Most people know that from the subsequent games. So you got your special here. You can increase them and decrease them, and you have 5 character points to put into your attributes. So you can increase agility up to 10 and then do nothing else. Or you could lower some, get more points, increase it elsewhere. So you can do that. Pretty standard stuff for a Fallout game. Down the bottom, you have traits. These are optional, but some are good, some are bad. I'll show you which ones I recommend you take for your first time through. They will make it a lot easier, I won't lie. But I think that's okay on your first time playing Fallout 1. This here is just all the bits and pieces of information. So armor class and action points, all that. I'll go through that real quickly soon. Up here is more status effects, which during the game you'll be able to have a look at them. Right now, who cares? Maybe you care about the hit points, but honestly, you probably don't. And over here you've got skills, and these are skills that you can tag so that when you go to raise them later, they raise much faster. So you get a 20% bonus for tagging it, and you can tag 3 of them, any 3 of these, and then it's easier to raise them in the game. So let's start with our character attributes. What do you want to do? If you're playing this the first time, you got no idea, you'll chuck some in. You might go, I'll be strong, I can be, perceptive, all that kind of thing. Charisma is probably the dump stat of this game. I would say, get rid of it. Intelligence is important for skill points. Probably not as important as New Vegas, but you want that high. Agility is also, I think, pivotal in this game. You want that high. You want that up at about 9, I think, personally, if you want an easier time. Luck, I think you want decent. Strength, you want decent. Perception, you want decent. Endurance, I can be convinced either way on endurance. So if I want to go to strength 6, perception 6, leave endurance, maybe I'll dump down charisma. Put intelligence up. Let's go to intelligence 9. And the reason I go to 9, not 10, because 10 is the max, is you can raise these stats in the game. So we'll just go to 9 as maximum. And then we get to agility, we put that up, and we realize we've run out of points. So what do? Do we drop some? And this is, you're meant to do this. You're meant to go, listen, I'll go down to endurance 3 and go up like that. However, that's where these traits come in. And since this is your first time playing through, I don't think it's wrong to actually go and have a look at these traits and get something good for yourself. So let me run through them. Fast metabolism. This means that you're much less resistant to radiation and poison, but your body heals faster. Who cares? Who cares? You'll just use healing items. Bruiser, a little slower but a little bigger. So you're going to do, your total action points are lowered. That is really bad, but your strength is increased. That's 2 points of strength. So you click on it, you see your strength goes up by 2. Okay, 2 hit points, wow, but you lose 2 action points. You gain a bit of carry weight, and you gain a minimal amount of melee damage. It is not worth it. That is a trap. Small frame, some people swear by this. I don't really care for it, but some people really swear by it. It gives you an extra point in agility, but you drop your carry weight down. So it's a big chunk that people say just chuck your extra stuff onto your companions if you got them. Companions in this, they're okay, but they may not make it through. One-hander. So one-hander is basically a bonus to one-handed weapons, and two-handed weapons get a negative. I would not do that because there are some brilliant two-handed weapons, particularly late game, laser weapons in particular, or energy weapons, I should say. Finesse. You can do that. You basically drop your damage down, you get more critical hits. Okay, cool. It's alright, I guess. Kamikaze, it just drops your armor class down. So our armor class is 8. Take Kamikaze. Oh, actually, it doesn't do anything straight up, I don't think. Oh, it does, sorry. Goes to a 0. 8 and 0 look a bit similar. So you don't really want to do that. Sequencing combat won't be an issue, really, I don't think. Not with the build that we'll do. Heavy-handed. Again, it's a melee. Nah, you always do on melee damage. Who cares? At least it puts it up to melee damage 5. But again, we're not doing a melee build. Maybe you could convince me on that. Fast shot is good. Fast shot is good, but we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it because it won't help us in this very first one that we're doing, because it will take out a part of the game, which is an aimed shot, which is VATS in this game. So I think fast shot is really good if you're trying to get a particular weapon. We know it is the turbo plasma rifle in this game, and you're really trying to shoot, many times in combat over and over and over again. Fast shot is great, and it can be one of the most powerful builds, I think, but we'll leave it. Bloody mess, waste of time. You just see people get blown apart, but you see it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Jinxed, all right. So more critical failures for everyone in combat, including you. Terrible. Good-natured. Okay, here we are. Starting to get interesting, okay? Your combat skills start at a lower level, but first aid, doctor, speech, and barter are substantially improved. Let's come back to that, because I think we might want to look at that. Chem reliant, your chance to crave chems is twice as normal. Nah, forget it. Just kids, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Or if you do them, just don't do them too much, okay? All right, chem resistant. Okay, so chem resistant is, what is it that your chance to crave the... see, again, just don't worry about it, okay? All right, if you're going to use chems, you might as well let him do their full effect. Night person, again, if you're playing in a themed character, maybe a stealthy night sneaky character, sure. But yeah, again, this one doesn't work inside, I think is the problem. if I remember correctly. Skilled. It seems really good. You start with better skill level. So you check this. Everything starts up. Look at that. Everything goes up by 10% in your skills up here. That's phenomenal. Only you will gain a perk every 4 levels. Oh, okay. That's not nice. Every 4 levels. That's a bit crap, really. So it's going to mean that you lose 1 or 2 basically perks in the game. And perks can be really good, so don't take skilled. Whoops. Take that off. Gifted. Okay, gifted. More like godlike. This is the most abused perk in the trait. In this game. I think it's something. There's something to be said with not taking it and doing it. I probably wouldn't take it if I was running through Fallout just myself. But I think it's for a first-time player. I think this is great. All of your primary attributes here go up by 1. So 1 extra point for it, and you lose 10% over here on all these. And you receive 5 less skill points per level. So there are some negatives to this. So people think there are no negatives, but there's a lot of skill point negatives. I would say take that, personally. We're going to have high intelligence anyway, so we're getting a lot of skill points per level. So that kind of offsets the 5 less in that, and the extra skill points you get here is insane. It's insanely good. So that lets us go, okay, charisma 2, we can't drop it to 1, okay, 2, they don't let you go down to 1, even after you get gifted. All right, so strength 7, we don't need. Perception 7, I could be convinced. Intelligence 10, we don't need. Agility 9, we need. We got 2 extra. I like a high luck personally, because when you get the perk later on in the game, what's it called? Sniper? No, not Sniper. Sniper's the bad one. I'll have to remember. No, Sniper's the good one. Sharpshooter's the bad one. Sniper's a good one. You make luck rolls to get critical hits. It's really good. So I think 8. So I would take something like that. Pretty good, pretty easy. Like I said, you could then take small frame if you really wanted to get that extra point, but drop your carry weight. Some people do that. That's fine. I actually think good natured if we go back to that. So you see over here, our combat skills aren't great. And remember, this will make them start even lower. Yeah, okay, see, that's a problem. But speech goes up, which is good. Doctor goes up. Doctor's not bad. First aid, let's have a look at our skills. You got your combat skills. Small guns, big guns, energy weapons, unarmed, melee, throwing. Okay, it's great to think that you're going to use all of them, but you're not, okay? You are going to use small guns in this game. When you get to the end, you'll switch over to energy weapons. You could do big guns, but big guns are heavy and I think not as good. A rocket launcher is fun, it's cool. You can do the builds for those, or a minigun is cool. But I think they're a secondary to how good energy weapons are in this. Now, energy weapons will be -1 if we put good natured on, but that's okay. We got time to get that up. We're not going to be using energy weapons till a much higher level in this game. We could be, level 12, level 15, somewhere like that, like ages away. The rest of your combat skills, you don't care how high they are. Maybe unarmed and melee might help you in situations like getting out of the cave at the start of the game, or trying to fight the Raider Khan boss or something like that, but they're just useless. Throwing, absolutely woeful. Don't even put points into it. So who cares if these drop? Small guns going down hurts. Energy weapons going down hurts. But what you would do with this is you've got 3 tag skills. I would put one into small guns to make that up to 44%. That's okay till we get that first level done. We'll be fine, don't worry. Okay, then we come down, you've got your non-combat skills. First aid. First timers in this game love using first aid. It is an absolute waste of time, I think. It uses time to give you health points back. Just use a stim pack or go see a doctor, quite honestly. And sometimes you use it, it doesn't work. It's just I think it's a bit of a waste of time. Doctor, also generally a waste of time, except if you've got a crippled limb. Now, it depends how you play. Some people save scum and they just reload. But if you're trying to not reload, doctor's good. Can let you heal your crippled limb. So you might want to put that up a little later on. Sneak, unless you're playing a stealth build or a sneaky thief type build, don't worry about it. We've got lockpick next. Lockpick, yep, you'll need that. You'll need that quite a bit. I would put a tag on Lockpick that starts at 38, but we can increase that rapidly. And so that's a good time to mention with tagged skills that every point you put into one of these skills when you go up a level will be worth 2 because they're tagged. So that can jump up. We can put 5 points in there. It'll take it up to 48 instead of 43. So really good to tag it. Steal, don't waste your time. It's not worth stealing. You'll just end up save scumming and you steal crap. It's a waste of time. Traps, I could be convinced just for certain parts of the game there are traps, but they explode and you just tank the damage basically. I can be convinced in Fallout 2 more than Fallout 1 for that. Science and repair, I think you do need to see them raised. Okay, I think they're you'll have a much better game if lockpick, science and repair are high, because you'll be able to do everything. You'll be able to repair things and access computers and get into places that perhaps you'd have to go around, whatever it might be. I think they're good to have high. All right, speech, you can leave it low. I'm going to tag it because I think if you're playing this game for the first time in particular, you want all those options in speech. You want to be able to talk people around. You want to be able to solve things without killing people, all sorts of things. So speech, let's tag, let's get that high, and we can have a good time talking to people. Barter, feel free to put points in it if you want. It's up to you. You can find a lot of good gear in this game. You don't need to buy stuff. And I'm also, I wouldn't recommend in your first game just cheating to get, or not cheating, but exploiting in a sense to get extra money, which is gambling. You do that. You raise your gambling up to 50 or 60. I can't remember exactly what it is. Go to one of the casinos. There's one in the hub. I think it works at Gizmos, at Junktown. And you just basically gamble and get unlimited money. It takes a while, but you just kind of hold the key down and keep getting money. And you can have whatever you want. Doesn't matter how good your barter is. But again, I don't recommend doing that your first playthrough. Play through and experience the difficulty of Fallout. Outdoorsman, 2%. That's probably where it will stay for the whole game. I don't really see much point putting that in. You might get a few more negative. Don't waste your time. It's got more of a. I say it's got more of a purpose in later games, but it didn't really, did it? Yeah. Once you got the car in Fallout 2, you didn't need it, and Fallout New Vegas, who cared? Unless it was survival, but even then. So, this is the setup I would have over here. Small guns, and you look to do energy guns later. Lockpick, speech. And I'd recommend you try and get these ones raised up pretty quickly in your first few levels. The thing is, you can raise up these skills in other ways too. Small guns, science, repair, all have books that you can buy, or magazines you can buy to increase them. It also works for first aid as well. Is there an outdoorsman one in Fallout 1? I can't remember, but maybe there is. Doesn't matter. You don't want it. And you can buy those books later to increase those up anywhere up into the 90s. So you're not rushed to do that. But I think lockpick and small guns you want to kind of get up quick, and speech have up a little bit there. So this is the character I would recommend for you if you're going to start playing Fallout 1 for the first time. I know this has taken a long time, but we're up to about 18 minutes. But just wanted to go through a few of those things and what they do. Again, actually probably a good time to mention in the middle. Armor class 9, doesn't matter too much. Action points 9, very important. That's one of the most important stats you will have in this game. You want to get your agility up to 10 eventually and have action points 10, and then get some perks later on to help out with that. Carry weight, that's decent. Melee, doesn't matter. Damage resistance, you can increase it with armor. Poison, who cares? Radiation, who cares? Sequence, that's a good sequence. Healing rate, who cares? Critical chance, 8, cool, that's linked to your luck. You could, if you wanted to, drop your perception down to drop down your sequence and a couple of your skills. Bump your luck up. And I go to luck, 9% chance for critical. It's up to you. It's not critical. Either way, it'll be fine. And these stats here will let you access what you need to access to get the right perks, I think, for a strong first game build. Anyway, that's the first video that we'll do. I'll come along with another video soon, and we will have a look at just playing through just the start of the game, just to go through, like I said, the quality of life, things that I think you should know about Fallout 1, so that when you start playing, you know how to use the interface, you know how to interact with the world, and you don't just end up doing what I do, which is bouncing off town to town, not knowing what to do, just ended up in fights and had a terrible experience. But rather, you'll get into the game, and I think you will actually enjoy it. Anyway, thanks a lot. It's been great to share this with you, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye.